Okay, YouTubes, we're back at it here. It's actually a different day today, but I ran out of batteries, and somewhere in the move we couldn't find the battery charger for my rechargeable batteries, and I did not want to run uptown and buy batteries at the price they are right now. So you didn't get to see some of it, but you didn't really miss much. Basically what happened is I got angry, blew coolant everywhere, because I left the cap off of the radiator when I shut it down. What I had done was I had taken the cap off the radiator to see if I was getting circulation, which I was, and then I shut it down, and what happens when you do that is the coolant comes blowing up out of here. So, I got it all taken care of now. The only problem with the heater was all that gunk that was in the old radiator had gone through the heater lines and into the heater and plugged it up, so I wasn't getting any flow through there. Seems to run and drive pretty good. I've still got that exhaust leak, and Phil was supposed to have been over tonight to help me bleed the brakes, but he was a no-show. So tonight, Kayla might help me bleed the brakes. I've got to try and fix a coolant leak, and I've got to fix the back window because I can't get it to roll down. So that's kind of the things we're going to deal with tonight. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys a little trick that I've learned over the years. When you got a vehicle with an older vehicle, mind you, not the newer ones, but the older vehicles like this, I wouldn't even say a year range, but I'd say probably pre-82, 83, something like that. And you've got a door switch that doesn't work like this. You know, obviously, like this one didn't. I guess it does now, but because I did my little trick and I wasn't even thinking about it. But first thing you do is you take this and you just work it back and forth a couple times. See if you can get it to make contact. You know, and that's assuming that all your bulbs are good and that your wires are good and everything's right that way. The next thing you can do is you take this little knob here and you pull out on it and you just twist back and forth, back and forth. What that does now is there is a set of contacts in there that when that switch comes open, these contacts close together because there's a spring in behind them. And sometimes you'll get some corrosion and such on those, such as in the case of this, and so when you work that back and forth, you kind of grind that corrosion off of there. And it's kind of just an easy little trick that I've learned over the years. It's worked for me several times. And now our interior light switch is working good on this particular door. The other doors I knew it worked good on, but this one I had noticed it hadn't, and it was one of those things that bothered me, and I wanted it to work, and now it does. It's looking like all of our fuses are good. Now I'm going to look around a little bit more and see if there's some kind of a different, larger fuse box. Most likely what I am actually suspecting here is that, what I'm suspecting I'm going to find here is that the wiring in this back door, what happens is over time those wires bend, close, bend, close, bend, close. And you eventually, the wires end up breaking. So what I'm guessing is that I'm going to have to take a battery charger, go in and manually roll this window down, you know, hook up, hot wire the motor so I can get it to go down, and then open the tailgate and probably repair those wires. Okay, so I tested the switches and everything. What I'm doing now is I am building a hot wire straight into the motor that makes this dirty devil go up and or down. So as soon as we finish that, we'll turn on the battery charger and we will try to take this thing down. And yes, I have used speaker wire because that's the only wire I had laying around. It's amazing how much you take for granted the stock of bolts and nuts and wire connectors and just miscellaneous crap that you get over the years. Hey, look at that. Okay, the window motor is good. Now, if everything's working as it should, hey, look at that. Now, what I need to do is I need to roll the Jeep ahead so I can roll the window up, so I can deal with, I'll show you the wires I'm going to be looking at. They're right there, and you can see they're in a bad spot. It actually looks like there's probably, oh no, that was just a piece of grain. Like there might actually be a bad one or two in there. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'll do the same exact thing in reverse to roll the window up, and then we'll get the Jeep pushed ahead and get all that done. Okay, I got the tailgate down, get the window back up so I can work inside there. Now we're going to go ahead and do something else. I take this piece of tape here and I'm going to tie the back window switch in the down position. Okay, now I've already been underneath here and tested the wires once, but I'll try and show you again what we got. This is how we're testing the switch and everything related up there. Now you see I've got this connector here which comes from the cab unhooked, and I'm going to hook up those and watch my multimeter, and we have 11.37 volts. So that tells me that we have power back to where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to hook this connector back up. Sorry if I'm a little shaky, it's kind of hard to do this underneath here. So then I'm going to hook this up, and what we need to do now, other than running over my cables to my frickin' fluke, what we need to do is we need to probe each one of these wires, because I know which ones they are. They are the tan and black wire. So we're going to probe this wire here. We're just going to try and stick it. That's what we're trying to do. Without making too much of a mess of the wire. Probe that wire there, and we'll probe that wire there, which is actually broken. And what I'm seeing is that inside here we're getting, well, let's see if I can show you. Off of those wires with the switch in the down position, getting 11.37 volts. So we're actually good through here. So now we need to test these wires up in here further, because that would tell me that these wires in here, that there's a break in one of them. So we'll go ahead and test these. Basically what I'm doing is what I'm trying to find out is where my problem is. I know that my problem is not at the connector, and I know that my problem isn't between the connector and here, the typical problem area where these wires bend back and forth. So that means that my problem is now in between here and the safety switches. So if I've got a bad safety switch like this, then it's not going to go as well. So first thing I'll do is I'll probe all the way up here to the motor where it splits off and goes to the safety switches, and we'll see if that's good. If that's good, then I know that all my wiring up underneath here is good. And then I have to move on further up the line to my safety switches, the window down switch, and the door close switch, and we'll check each of those accordingly. And unfortunately, since it is a little bit hard to test with one hand, I'm gonna have to kind of leave you guys out of this one, but I just wanted to let you know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so that I can pinpoint a specific area in the wiring that's bad, that's causing this window not to go down. And I guess, you know, quite honestly, Phil is the inspiration for this video, because Phil has a terrible time with diagnostics Well, diagnostics in general, really, and I know he's not going to get mad about me saying that because we talk about it quite regularly about his diagnosis, and he asks me for a lot of help with that. And basically the idea of diagnosis, especially electrical, but in any situation in general, is to pinpoint it to one spot. Try and get it broken down to one area so that you know where you're at. You know, with anything from a miss in the engine, which could be caused by fuel, spark, compression, etc., 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 pinpoint it to one area and then attack that area. So, and that's what I'm doing here with the wiring in my diagnosis. I'm trying to find out where the problem spot is, and then we are going to attack it. Well, YouTubes, we have another success story. Here's what I found. Underneath here, there is a set of wires that goes to the key switch, because you should be able to put the key in and click it back and forth. There's a set of contacts in that because you can roll down the window in the back without having the key on, but the switch in the front, you have to have the key on in order to run it. So I found out that we weren't getting contact on that switch. Now, because of several factors here, okay, normally it's not something that I like to do because it's just not right. It's not the right way to do it. I like things to work just the way they're supposed to, factory original, but yeah, I'm not afraid to take a shortcut every now and again to get around a problem. So, based on a couple different factors, number one being the obscurity of this particular vehicle, optioned the way it is, especially, but I mean these Wagoneers, believe it or not, around here are getting really rare anymore. Coupled with the idea that I know how this one will get used, and it will not be a big deal if Denny can't come up with a load of groceries in a cart and stick his key in, you know, and roll the window down. Based on all of that, what I did was I completely bypassed the switch for the door, or for the window in the back. So I just took these wires and I chopped them, the ones that I had tested before. I chopped them where they go to the key switch, and cut the wires where they go up. And yes, I tested this switch and everything, and the first thing I did was I tried putting a hot wire. I unplugged it completely and I put a hot wire jumper in between, and it didn't make a difference. Then I actually removed the switch and tested, and it was making, and all you do there is it's just an on-off switch because it has to pass current through it. So I took and I took the switch out and made it, unmade it, made it, unmade it, and you get continuity in between. Probably should have showed you that part, but I didn't, so sue me. No, please don't, actually, because I don't want you to. But, so anyways, I tied these wires together, and as you can see, I've still got the switch in the front, tied in the down position, and when I hit this switch, look at that. So we're going to roll this all the way down. So, yeah, I'm going to call it a job well done. And I think that'll probably be about enough for tonight, because I don't have the exhaust donut yet. That'll be in tomorrow. And, yeah. Other than that, I don't have anybody here to help me bleed the brakes except Kayla, and she's making dinner. So, yeah. So, till another video. We'll see you guys later.